this summer camp session, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're going to turn it over to Mr. Larry, and he's going to teach you how to draw Simba. Mr. Larry, it's on you.
All right, Camp Director Sheik, thank you. Everybody, if you can give Mr. Sheik a round of applause. Awesome. Now, I cannot hear you. He is, I think, directing the chat communication. So if you all have questions throughout the lesson, you can type them in, and he has access to the microphone. So he'll hop in and interrupt politely and kindly if we need to cover something a little more efficiently than we did. Now, I just want to tell you a couple things about myself. I'm a retired art teacher, and so I have worked with kids of all ages, starting from as young as kindergarten, and I finished up with 8th graders. So I think that we are all within that age range, and I'm going to try to make this as user-friendly as possible. And the reason I chose Disney is because, as Mr. Sheik says, everybody loves Disney, and Walt Disney was a favorite of mine. In fact, just to prepare for the lesson here, I'm at my son's house on location, so I'm not in my usual studio. So I'm going to have to kind of like hold up my notepad. Now, this is a rough sketch of Simba. This is not done, but just kind of like wave if you can see the rough sketch. Wave to me if you can see the rough sketch. Okay, good, good. That's awesome. So typically when I teach from my studio, I have an overhead camera. I don't have that today, so we're just going to make do with what we do have. So as Mr. Sheik said, I have a pencil. Actually, I got 2 pencils. This is an official, I think, PAVCS pencil. I hope my erasers work a little bit. You don't have to have these supplies, but if you do, they'll help. I just have like an outlining marker. So if you have access to a different marker, a different color, just to deepen the lines connected to Simba, that's great. You do not, awesome, I see a Sharpie there. You do not have to have this, but I did find a ruler at my son's house. So that's going to help me out a little bit. But if you don't have a ruler, no worries. If you do have one and you need to like kind of sneak away and grab it, go for it. That's totally your decision. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is this. I'm going to cheat just a little bit. I have kind of like a round object. It's a, I think it's like a plastic or a ceramic dinner plate. I'm going to use that at the beginning just to trace. If you have something round at your house that you could trace, now it would have to be a little larger, okay? So it would be like maybe a coffee can lid or a dinner plate or a paper plate or something like that. I see a paper plate in there. Awesome. That would be great. But listen, if you don't have something round to trace, you know, like the lid of a coffee can or a paper plate or a real plate, don't worry about it. We will make do as best we can, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cue, because what I'm doing is I'm kind of using a little cheat sheet drawing of Simba that I'll be referring back and forth to, okay? And if I can't see something, I'm an old guy, so I'll put on my cheaters, okay, if I need to see a little bit better. If you have any issues at all throughout the lesson, you just talk to Camp Director Sheik. I see a Mickey Mouse doll down there in the corner and a Donald Duck doll. That is awesome. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn over to a brand new clean sheet of paper, and we're going to get this awesome picture of Simba going. And just to warn you, I am at my son's house. So there are Simba-like cats here. He's got 2 little kittens. I think they're maybe close to a year old. They're very mischievous. So if they jump up here with me, don't be alarmed. Their names are, I think, Pebbles and Pancake. So if Pebbles and Pancake jump up here on the table, I'll just kind of get them down as I can, and we'll continue with our lesson. Okay, here's the first thing I'm going to do. And if you don't have something to trace, you just try to make the circle as round as you possibly can, okay? I'm gonna trace my plate and I'm gonna make me as round a circle as I possibly can, and I'll hold this up in 1 minute, I promise. Actually, less than a minute, okay? Now, if you don't have a plate, do not worry, okay? Just make as round a circle as you can, and you want the circle to be fairly large so that it takes up a lot of your page.
Now, I didn't have a plate, but I don't know if you can see, I kind of try to make a little.
I can,
circle.
that's awesome.
So if you guys can't, it's okay. You know, just try your best.
That's exactly right. It's all about trying your best and having fun while you're doing it. And I got to be honest with you. Every time I draw something, it turns out different. So the fun thing about teaching art is, and I'm trying to see here, it looks like there's 36 kids in here. That's my favorite number, 36. That was my college number. So that's really awesome. So we're going to have 36 different Simbas, which is so very cool. Okay. Now here's what I'm going to do next. Okay. I'm going to take a ruler, but if you don't have a ruler, don't worry about it. I'm going to make kind of a plus sign or a cross in the middle of my circle. Okay, now that's going to help us carve out some of the details associated with Simba's face. Okay, now I'm lucky enough that my circle is about 9 inches across, so half of that is going to be 4.5, 4.5. So I'm going to be able to split mine in half pretty effectively and pretty evenly. But if you know, just do your best is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to get it spot on in the middle. And when you do your little sketch lines, I'm going to do some scribbles here in the corner. Feel free to go over your lines many times. That's called gestural sketching. That's what artists do. They go over lines more than once to kind of get the lines where they want them to be. Okay, so here I go. I'm gonna create kind of like a cross or a plus in the middle of my circle, and I'll show that to you momentarily.
Once you're done, hold it up to the camera too, so I can see that you guys all did it too.
I could have used Mr. Sheik or Camp Director Sheik when I taught in the classroom, because like an extra pair of eyeballs and hands and ears is so cool. So there's my line down the middle. And once we're done with Simba, we're probably going to erase some of these beginning lines. Okay, so I'm making mine dark so you can see it, but maybe you want to press a little lighter on the pencil because you're going to erase some of these lines. They're kind of like guidelines. Okay, now here goes. I'm going to draw a line the other way. We're going to intersect, or I don't know, to pull in some math, I think that's called a perpendicular line. So here goes.
And I saw Kyler, great job. Genesis, I saw you had it pretty well going. Let's see who else got their pictures. Bahima, great. All right. Lily, awesome. Alexandre, awesome. Ella, great. Okay. Lily Ann, Amina, wonderful. Gabriel, great job. All right. Paul, let's see that picture, buddy. Ava, awesome. Shelby, good job. Great job, Paul. And I see some people are using the eraser. That's okay. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
Great job, Emma. All right, everybody.
And I see Maya. I think that's Maya in the middle of my screen. Great job, Maya. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. These are kind of called like quadrants, okay? And the quadrants will help us kind of identify areas of the picture that we're going to kind of systematically work inside, okay?
Think of it as like 4 big slices of pizza.
That's right. Yeah, it's a pizza pie and 4 slices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on Simba's eyes here, okay? And let me move my chair over. And I might be able to show you this part while I'm on the screen. And that might be, you know, how I'm going to draw this thing, because that'll probably be easier for you kiddos to understand. And I'm hoping that Camp Director Sheik and I are like the 2 big pictures on your screen right now. So you can probably see a heck of a lot better than I can, because I'm an old guy here. But here's what I'm going to do. Remember I was talking about those scribbles on the side? When I go and do my circles for Simba's eyes, I'm going to go round and round and round. So there might be some extra scribbles in there. Don't worry about that. When we finalize Simba at the end of the half hour or 40 minutes or however long we're going to work on it, you can erase the lines that you no longer want, if that makes sense. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go just above this horizontal line. And my circle is not completely round, but there's one eyeball, and you could probably see some extra scribbles in there. And I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to draw a circle that is similar in size. And guess what? When you guys look in the mirror, if you're ever bored and you look at your own eyes, guess what? One of them is bigger and one of them is smaller. Even though they look perfectly matched, if you're not studying your face, guess what? One eyeball is a different size than the other. One ear is a different size than the other. No two eyes, no two ears, no two teeth, just like snowflakes. Nothing is the same. So if your circles are different, don't you worry about it, okay? All right, now inside that circle, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a smaller circle, and that's going to be kind of like Simba's pupil, the dark part of his eye. So here's what I'm going to do. Inside the first circle, there's a smaller circle. I'm going round and round and round. Remember, you can have gestural scribbles. That means extra lines that you're going to get rid of by the time we're done. You'll concentrate on the line you want to keep, and you'll get rid of the ones that you do not want to keep.
So I'll show you how mine's look, so that way you get an idea of.
Yeah, it's so nice to have him because it's like I said, he's my art assistant today.
So as you can see, mine doesn't look as professional as Mr. Larry's, but that gives you an idea of what it should sort of look like where you're at right now.
And I'll tell you what, Mr. Sheik, I don't know what mine looks like because I'm holding up to the camera and I'm half blind, so I'm just rolling with it. I'm just going with it, okay?
Hey, good job, Genesis. Great job. Kobe, how you doing over there, buddy? Let's see. Oh, great job, Kobe. All right.
Nice.
All right, Renji, you're doing a great job, buddy. Awesome. Let's see.
Looks like...
How's everybody else doing? All right. Alexander, awesome. Lily Ann, great. Oh, you're drawing a few. Okay, who was that? Gabriel? Okay, Mr. Overachiever. CJ, great job.
Nice.
All right, I see everybody else holding it up too.
I think everybody's able to follow, right? Wave your hand if you're able to follow so far. All right, nice. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. If you ever look in your mirror in the bathroom or your bedroom, there's a shiny speck to your eye. It's called a highlight. Because your eyes, every time you blink, you coat them with a kind of like a lubricant that makes them shiny. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do like a half circle in the upper realm of my pupil there, and that's going to be Simba's highlight. And what I'm going to do around that highlight, since everybody's pupil is the dark camera lens of their eyeball, I'm going to kind of scribble around that highlight, and I'm going to darken in the pupil. So I darkened in one pupil, and I did not color in the highlight because that's the shiny speck. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in the second pupil. Okay. And what I used to tell my kiddos at school, this is a cool little technique. And sometimes we use these little rolled up paper tubes called blending stumps, and they make your charcoal or your graphite from your pencil kind of smeary. But if you don't have one of those, you can actually use your fingertip. If you wanted to connect those scribbles and make them kind of more artsy looking, you can shadow and shade them in just with the tip of your finger. Now, I gotta warn you, you're going to get like some dusty graphite on the tip of your finger, but that's cool. We artists sometimes get dirty doing our work. So if your fingertip gets a little dusty, that's a sign that you are a true artist, and you can just wash it off later before you eat or Hey, I'm trying to see whose that is at the bottom. That looks really cool. I think it's Caitlin. Is that Caitlin at the bottom? I can't see the chat boxes up, but anyway, if I got that name right, Caitlin, you're doing a great job. Okay. Everybody okay so far? Okay. Now in the and by the way, all I did was just in preparation for today's lesson, all I did was just like go online, some ideas. As you know, it's so crazy what's out there on YouTube and all these how to draw lessons. So that's all I did. I'm not taking credit for this. I'm looking at a cheat sheet and I was watching a video, that allowed me to cheat. So that's the power of media and technology in today's day and age. Now, above Simba's eyeballs, he's got like a shadow. It's not really an eyebrow. It's kind of like a dark spot above his eyes. So I'm just doing like a scribbled in shadow above his eyes. And if you want to smear that out, you may. And here's another little idea. Give me 1 second here. If you're tired of your finger getting dusty and dirty, this is just a regular old Q-tip. You might have them in the medicine cabinet or the closet. Sometimes you can take a basic Q-tip, which is made for, cleaning your ears or applying some, sometimes my mom would dip this in some Vaseline and smear some medication or something on a cut or a boo-boo. But it's mostly for cleaning ears. And you can also use just a regular old Q-tip to smear those lines. Okay, so that's just an idea if you're tired of your finger getting dirty and dusty. Okay, all right, how are we doing? We doing okay? All right, I'm gonna put in Simba's. This is called his teardrop. When you are happy or sad, or sometimes if you yawn, your eye creates tears and they come from an area called a tear duct, and that's the corner of your eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a V shape in the corner of each eye. That's called the tear duct. And I am also going to darken in the tear duct. Again, it's just scribbles. You don't have to remember that real technical term. It's called gestural sketching, Gestural. That's just a fancy schmancy word that we artists use. But I scribbled in the tear duct, and if you want to smear that out with your finger or your Q-tip, you go right ahead. I see 2 dirty fingers there. That means you're working like twice as hard. That's awesome. I can't see your name though. Alex, right?
All right, Alexander.
Awesome. Okay. So we're gonna try and make this look a little more cat-like here coming up. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull down from the tear duct on both sides, okay? But I don't want to pull the nose down too far because we want to have room for the mouth, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put like a little gestural line here. It looks like an emoji right now, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to put a little gestural line right about there. And that's going to kind of be like the danger zone. I don't want my nose, my Simba nose, to go down any farther than that because we want to save room for his mouth and the bottom of his furry chin. So I just put a little line down there. That's kind of like the danger zone that we do not want to pass. Okay, so here's how we're going to start Simba's nose. At the corner of that tear duct, I'm going to come down with 2 lines that look about yay long. It still looks like an emoji, but I think once we get this nose in there, we're gonna start seeing some cat-like looks taking shape, if that makes sense, okay? Now in the video that I watched, the Disney artist that was actually drawing the picture, he referred to the shape of the nose as kind of like a boomerang shape. Now, for me personally, what it reminds me of is kind of like a bird on the beach. Did you ever like draw a little sunset where you had like a bird on the beach, a seagull or something like that. Okay. This is going to be a similar movement, but we're not going to kind of have that sharp dip in the middle. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of like make the bird not have such a sharp dip in the middle. It's seagull-like, but it's a little rounder in the middle, if that makes sense. And then what the Disney artist did next was, he said we were working on a boomerang looking shape. He kind of just took his pencil and made a smiley shape. And that's going to be Simba's nose. And you feel free, boys and girls. Any line you put in, they're scribbly lines, like I said. You can shade them in either with your finger or your Q-tip, and that's less that we have to erase at the end of the lesson. So, Camp Director Sheik, are we doing okay, like time-wise and pace-wise? And
oh yeah, we're doing fine, and I think everybody's doing some great pictures.
I know.
I mean, a lot of you are doing a lot better than me. I feel Simba might have a little bit of a bigger nose than he should.
I love it.
Me, but that's okay. Every Simba is different. So
that's right.
All of you are doing an awesome job. You guys are doing great. Wonderful.
And honestly, I don't even know how mine's looking because, like I said, I'm an old guy. I can't see that great without my glasses, but I'm just, thank you. Someone gave you a thumbs up. That was so nice of you. Is that Alex again? Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, now Simba has to breathe. So I'm going to do like 2 rainbow shapes on the sides of the boomerang, and those are called nostrils. Simba's got to breathe, and I'm going to darken in the nostrils with my gestural scribble-like lines. And again, if you want to smear them with your finger or a Q-tip, you go right ahead, boys and girls. Okay, and remember that scribbly line there, that was kind of like the danger zone for us to keep away from. We're probably okay to erase that right now. If you can't erase it, you don't have an eraser, guess what? It'll just look like a wrinkle on his fur. It's no problem. No problem. Okay, now here's what I'm going to do. It's going to look, when we draw the mouth, it's going to look like Simba's frowning at first, but fear not, we will make him smile, I promise, okay? So down from the nose, right on that original center line we drew, I'm going to bring down kind of like a fold, a vertical line that's going to be kind of like a crease or a fold under his nose. And we humans, I draw and paint a lot of portraits. We humans have like a little indentation. It's called, I looked it up one time. I think it's called the Infranasal Depression. I don't think it has any real purpose other than to, we kind of brainstormed this together in a class I had. We think that it catches and ricochets smells into our nose. So if mom's cooking a nice dinner, that smell of whatever she's cooking is going to hit your infranasal depression and bounce up into your nostrils. So that's a very non-scientific explanation, but I'm going to go with it. Okay.
See, mine is my mustache.
That's ours are covered up. I'm an old guy, so I got a gray beard. Mr. Sheik still has a nice dark beard. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Moving along, fear not. It's going to look like Simba is frowning at first. But we're going to change that. So there's a rainbow shape for his mouth. Don't worry. I know he looks angry or sad at first. We are going to change that around, I promise. Okie doke. We will fix that up. Thumbs up if you guys are doing okay. Whoa. Ella. That looks beautiful, sweetheart. And I'm so sorry, I can't call more of you out that I'm doing just because I'm like an old dude and I can't see so great. So that's like Mr. Sheik's job. He's doing a wonderful job of giving you all a shout out. I'm so proud of you kiddos. All right, so let's see here. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do next. Fear not, we're going to make him smile, I promise. But we're going to insert his chin right now, okay? Now, his chin's going to actually come down a little beneath the barrier of our circle, okay? And whatever lines are left at the end, and we no longer want them, we can erase if you have an eraser, okay? So I'm going to kind of compare this to a bucket shape or a U shape, okay? So I'm coming down with gestural sketch lines, and this is going to be kind of like a bucket. I'm at my son's house, and I'm watching his pets, and he wants me to do some other things like water his flowers, and he's got this baby tree in the front yard. And he's been telling me to give it 2 buckets of water a day. So there's a bucket under the porch. That is my frame of reference. It's kind of like a bucket shape, okay? Now, if you have an eraser and you're able to do so, you may now erase the bottom of that circle. And you can probably erase part of that plus or that cross that we had put in earlier. Okay. And if you want to run your finger on the outer edges of that bucket, you go right ahead. Any lines that we don't want at the end of the lesson, we can simply do away with via an eraser. And when I'm done teaching you all, you kiddos, if you want some more to do after I sign off, you can go ahead and outline this in Sharpie. I may show you just a little bit of that at the end, and then you can add color too. And then I would love it. I'm not telling you kiddos what to do or Mr. Sheik what to do, but I don't know if you guys ever like email a snapshot or a screenshot of what you're doing, and then Mr. Sheik could email them to my wife who works for the school. I would love to see some of the finished product. Mr. Sheik, is that a possibility?
Yeah, once we get done, I want you guys to be able to share some of the stuff you're doing. But I see some people are getting a little frustrated because they want it to be perfect. Every Simba is different, and I'm going to show you mine. If you notice, mine is a little bit different. I mean, he almost looks like, you know, like a nutcracker right now. Doesn't really look like Simba. That's okay. We're going to take it time, you know, little by little. That's why they gave us this, you know, little eraser thing if we want to erase a little bit. The good thing too, just a reminder, we are recording this. So if you're not happy with the way your Simba turned out, you can always try again. So just make sure you just want to do your best right now. You don't have, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it can be perfect for you. Okay.
100%. Absolutely great advice. Okay. Let's make Simba smile a little bit. Okay. That'll maybe cheer us up and make us feel a little better about the progression of our drawing. Okay. Now I'm gonna kind of like put another temporary line in on the sides of my boomerang or my bird on the beach. Okay. There's 2 little horizontal gestural sketch lines there that if we don't want them to remain, we can erase. That's going to be kind of like the stopping point or the point of reference when I make Simba smile here. Okay, so I'm gonna pull that frown up and I'm gonna turn it into a smile on both sides, and I'm gonna stop at that danger zone that we kind of referred to earlier. And these are all gestural lines, so you can run your finger over them or you can erase any line that you don't want there to remain in place. Okay, so my Simba's smiling now, I believe. I'm going to look at it real quick. Yeah, he's smiling for sure. Okay, now you can always, as Mr. Sheik said, you can always go back and fix things up. See, look, I'm going back and darkening a little bit of the eyeballs and whatnot. Okay, there is like No wrong way to do this. Just have fun. And there was an old television painter named Bob Ross. He had all this curly hair, and he would say, "You are only limited by your imagination." Okay, you have no limits. Wow, I see some nice Simba pictures. You kiddos want to hold him up right now that he's smiling? Whoa, nice nostril work, nice smiles, nice eyes. We're going to give him some furry eyebrows here in a minute, too. I love it. I totally love it. Thank you. Great job, kiddos. Okay, now on my little cheat sheet that I'm looking at on my phone, he's got like these creases in the top of the smile. Okay, I don't know if we'll call them laugh lines or smile wrinkles or whatever, but they're kind of like, an area of his fur where there's a little crease because he's smiling so big and wide. And again, anytime you want to go over that with your finger or your Q-tip, you go right ahead. And I'm going to kind of eliminate that little danger zone line that I had put in there before. Okay. And if you want, kiddos, you can take the time right now. I think it's okay. We can kind of erase that original plus or that cross, if you will, if you have time. I think we're kind of done with that. Okay. Before we move on to his eyebrows, just to make Simba look a little more lifelike as a Disney character, I'm going to put two little creases or wrinkles in his nose. You know, when you scrunch up your nose, when you smile, you can probably feel some wrinkles. You know, when I smile, I'm old, so I got wrinkles all over the place. Okay. So when Simba smiles, he's scrunching up a few wrinkles on his nose. Okie doke. And while we're at it, let's add a few whiskers. Simba has 3 whiskers on each side of his nose, okay? And your whiskers don't have to look like mine. We're gonna have 36, or however many kids are in here, we're gonna have 36 different versions of whiskers. So I'm gonna pull 3 out this way. 1, 2, 3. And then on my cheat sheet, he actually has 4 on the other side. So I'll put in 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, my lines are gestural, meaning that there's scribbles inside the whiskers. So, you know, I don't have any one set line for the whiskers. I was moving my pencil back and forth, back and forth. Okie doke. All right, now on my cheat sheet, connected to those smile lines or laugh lines, they have another little crease in the fur. Because I think if you look up a picture of Simba, there's going to be some different colors on his face, different values and different tones on his face. So there is a little connector line, like kind of a bridge from the smile line to the tear duct. So there's a bridge right there. And then there's going to be a bridge right here. The bridge connects the tear duct to the laugh line or the smile line. So like the bottom of his chin, I think if you look up a picture of him, is a different tonal value. Wow, that's a nice one. I can't see your name. It starts with an R. It's a really cool name, starting with an R. Great job, my dude. I love it. Okay, everybody doing all right? I see some nice looking Simbas. We doing okay, Mr. Sheik?
We're doing good. We're doing great. Good job, everybody.
All right, nice. We're gonna roll on to like kind of another little tonal area around Simba's eyes. And towards the top of the circle, we're gonna put in a furry eyebrow. And it's kind of like a rainbow shape again. So there's a furry eyebrow up top towards the upper echelon or the upper realm of the circle. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Kind of like a darker eyebrow. Rainbow shape. Remember what I said earlier. No 2 eyes are the same. No two nostrils are the same. No two teeth are the same. No two ears are the same. So guess what? No two eyebrows are the same, even on Simba. If you want to rub them out with your finger, you go right ahead. If you want to do that with a Q-tip, you go right ahead. Like I said, in the art realm, there's a technical term. It's called a blending stump. I think there's a French word for it too. Chamomile or chamomile or something like that. I don't know, but I call it a blending stump. Okay. All right. I'm looking at my Simba. You can look at your Simba. They say you're supposed to get away from your work as you're developing it. You know, you kind of hold it away from you. And yeah, I can definitely tell mine's looking cat-like for sure. Okay. Now, what time we got, Camp Director Sheik?
Right now we got 11:40. We could go about another 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was just going to say 10 minutes will be perfect. Okay. So I think we're maybe on the home stretch here a little bit. Okay. Let's get some ears in for Simba. And when I looked at the video, the gentleman the Disney artist who was drawing it, he referred to them as like mug handles, because like a mug handle, you know, I'm trying to do it with my hand here. A mug handle is a curvy round area where you pick up that mug and you take a nice sip. Yeah,
So
there
if you
we
want to
go.
see, there we go. That's a mug hand.
Right
It
on
kind of looks
cue.
like an ear. See?
Right on cue, kiddos. See, we planned that. No, I'm just teasing. We didn't plan that. That was totally unscripted. Okay, so we need kind of like some benchmark areas or little temporary lines so we know how big to make the mug handle ears. Okay, so my mug handle ears are going to start a little bit above those dark eyebrows, and I'm going to wrap the handle down around. I'm looking at my cheat sheet. It stops somewhere about the bottom of the boomerang. Okay, remember this was like called a boomerang shape on his nose. So I got like a little cheat sheet line above his eyebrows, and I got like two little cheat sheet lines down by his nostril. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a big old mug handle ear on the right. Think of a mug handle. And I'm going to do a big old mug handle ear on the left. Oops, I messed that one up a little bit. See that line that was accidentally put there? I'm just going to erase that. Another thing that Bob Ross used to say, the guy with the big afro, he would say, mistakes are welcome here. No such thing as a mistake. Like Mr. Sheik says, as long as you got that thing on top of your pencil, or you might have a large pink eraser that's separate from your pencil. Now, remember, you can get away from your work and you can adjust it as need be. See what I did? I found out that my ear on this side was a little bit smaller than the one on this side. So I made them a little more even. That's totally your call. Okay.
My Simba definitely has better hearing on one ear than the other.
That's okay. That's definitely looking good though, Mr. Sheik. You're a good listener and a good teacher, I'm sure. So remember, you can smear those lines together if you want. If there are lines that you no longer wish to have there, you can kind of like erase them out. Okay. Thumbs up if you guys are ready to go down the home stretch here. We've probably got about, 8 minutes or so left. Okay. Awesome. I see a lot of thumbs up. And remember,
right, everybody's okay. Put in chat if you need us to give us one more second or something. We could stop for a moment if you need it.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like everybody's doing well. Oh, Caitlin, that looks excellent. Awesome. All right. Wow. Everybody seems to be doing great. You're doing okay over there, Paul? You good? All right. All nice. Right, Amina.
I don't know if people, I'm sorry, Mr. Sheik. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. All right, let's give it one more second for Hakeem and Sophia. That's okay. And I just want to remind you, just again, like you look at Mr. Larry's, His looks way different than mine. That's okay. They're all gonna look a little like Simba.
Yep, absolutely. And I was just going to say, I was sorry to interrupt. I don't know if people still hang pictures on the refrigerator. I think these are definitely like fridge worthy by the time we're done for sure. Okay. So here's what we'll do with like our final 6-7 minutes. We'll carve out some details inside the ear. There's like a little area that's going to encompass the eyes. We'll pull down some, I don't know, it's kind of like, again, a different tonal. It's going to be a different color on his fur. And then we're going to wrap it up here pretty soon. Now, on the Disney video that I was watching, the gentleman referred to this next move as kind of like an S shape, whether it be frontwards or backwards. Okay, so I guess the first one I'm going to draw here, it's not a perfect S. It's just S-like. I don't know if that's frontwards or backwards on your screen. To me, it looks like a frontwards S, but it might be like a reverse image on your screen. I'm not sure. So there's my frontwards S, and here goes my backwards S. So we got two S shapes, frontwards and backwards inside the ears. And then Simba has some ear fur. So there's little wisps of fur inside his ears. There's 3 here. And I'm looking at my cheat sheet. I think there's 3 on this side too. So like his whiskers, he's got some fur inside his ears. And I think the fur in the ear might be just to catch some dust, like your eyelashes catch dust from getting into your eyeballs and things of that nature. Okay. And then around the ear fur, there's another little mini mug handle, because on my Disney cheat sheet, the outer area here is kind of shadowy. So I'm scribbling in some dark shadows around the ear fur. Again, those are called gestural lines, and this is a good time to use your finger. When you go around the ear fur, you can totally make it look all artsy and dark and shadowy by rubbing that blending finger around your picture. Okay. 2 final things we'll do, because we're probably down to, a few moments remaining. I told you we were going to kind of like put an enclosure, a circular enclosure around Simba's eyes. And what we're going to do is, you remember where that eyebrow was? I'm going to kind of pull a line down from the eyebrow to the tear duct. I'll hold that up a little closer. And then on the Disney sheet that I was referring to, it kind of comes full circle around his eyes. So from the dark eyebrow down to the tear duct, and then there's a miniature circle inside. So it's pretty cool. Everything was drawn mostly inside that original circle. Okay. And then the last thing, do we got like 3-4 final minutes, Mr. Sheik?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, awesome. Now, the last thing to make Simba look really cat-like is there are tufts. Tufts is tufts or wisps of fur. He's got like a big old one up on top of his head. And all these are like waves on the ocean. Do you ever draw waves, choppy waves on the ocean? They're kind of like ziggity-zaggity lines, for lack of a better description. So all I'm doing are some waves on the ocean, and that's going to give Simba some tufts of fur. And probably what I'm going to do is, see, that was one of the original lines, the top of my circle. I'm going to erase that. And remember, anytime you want to use your finger as a blending instrument, you go right ahead and do that. And then on my little cheat sheet drawing, he's got some fur tufts on the bottom of his bucket-like chin. So I put a little wisps of fur on the bottom of his chin. And then one of the final things I'm going to do is I'm going to put another bridge or a connector line from the bottom of the bucket to the side of the circle. That's just going to refine his chin a little more artistically and give his face a more cat-like shape. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to show you kids, and we're probably down to like 2 minutes, and then I know Mr. Sheik's probably going to want you guys to hold it up. And remember, when I sign off, if you're wanting to enhance your picture more, you can totally do this. And you kiddos, if you have crayons or colored pencils or watercolor or anything at home, you can add color and email them to Mr. Sheik, and he can email them to my wife. I don't have time to do the whole thing, but I'm showing you here. I got a Sharpie. I have no idea if it works or not. Let me just put my picture down for 1 minute. I'm going to see if I can outline maybe just the top of Simba's head, and it'll give your piece of art what's called an artistic pop, P-O-P, like Pop-Tarts, okay? So
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Larry.
No, hop in, Mr. Sheik.
I'm just curious, how's your Simba's looking? My Simba looks a little confused. He looks like something surprised him.
Oh, that looks great.
How's your Simba looking? Oh, wow. Great job, Kobe. Genesis, oh, awesome. Kyler, great work. Janae, how's your Simba turning out, huh? Oh, look at that. Awesome. All right. Maya, great job. Nyla, oh, awesome. Very well defined. Renji, good job. Okay, Steph. Alexander, you did an awesome job. Simba looks a little sad. That's okay. All right. Everybody ought to do it awesome. Great job, CJ. Gabriel saw you too. Awesome. Good. And you can make it a little more defined or less defined. It's all up to you. You are the artist. You can do what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. The last thing I'm going to say, kiddos, before I sign off is, as you can see, all I did was I defined the top of his head with a Sharpie marker or any type of pen or, anything that darkens or is a different value than the original graphite pencil. Or guess what? If you don't have color, you can leave it as a graphite drawing. Artists do pencil drawings all the time. I'm so looking forward to you kiddos emailing maybe a scan or, a screenshot of your completed Simba. And before I leave you, I wanted to say, first of all, how fun this was for me, because I haven't taught a complete lesson in many, many months because I retired back at the end of February. So you are the first class that I have been able to teach for several months. It was so fun for me. And the last thing I'm going to say is artwork is meant to be shown and shared. Okay, so if you could show them on the screen, that would like put a permanent smile on my face for the rest of the day. And then when I sign off, I want you to share it with somebody special to you, whether it be mom, dad, grandma, aunt, uncle, friend, whomever. And that way we will fulfill the two things that I just mentioned. Artwork meant to be shown and shared. Okay, let me put my cheaters on. Wow. So nice. So nice. And Ava, you added some color. What like a beautiful match to Simba's fur color. Paul, you got some color in there, bro. Looking nice. Oh man, I wish I could shout out every single name that I see, because this was so fun for me. Okay, now last thing, and then I'm going to hand it over to Camp Director Sheik. Oh my gosh, Caitlin, that might look better than mine. Caitlin, you're teaching next summer's lesson. I'm just teasing. But anyway, I'm saying how nice these all look. Sophia, that is beautiful. I don't know, how do we do this, Mr. Sheik? If you guys enjoyed the lesson, you don't, maybe you didn't enjoy the whole thing, but if you enjoyed it for at least 2 minutes, can you give a thumbs up?
All right.
Nice. Thank you so much. And I'm going to hand it over to Camp Director Sheik, okay?
All right. And I was going to show you too. It could be any kind of Simba. My Simba's a bit of a punk rocker. He has some green fur.
Yeah, that's called artistic
green
license.
So you can do it any way you want. Some of you just like, Paul, you guys decided how you wanted to do it, and that's awesome. So a few things I wanted to share with everybody. First and foremost, let's give Mr. Larry a big round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much. And you know what? Most importantly, this is what we do. We'll give yourselves 2 claps and a backpack. That's what we're going to do. Say thank you to yourself for doing such a great job, okay? Wonderful. So what I want you all to do is take your time with this. You don't have to share it if you don't want to, but you should share your artwork. And I'm going to challenge you to do a few things. One, if you want, share it with me via email, and I'll make sure to share it with everybody on PA Virtual social media so everyone can see how wonderful of a job that you did. And I'll even share my own too, so that way everybody can see how much better you are than me. 2, if you want to try to do this again, and I suggest you do, we're going to put this on YouTube. Try to get in a week or so. See if you got any better than the week before. 3, don't be afraid to try to draw stuff, anything that you want. We did last year. Our art teacher in our school, Miss Brittany Giroudi, taught everybody how to make Disney characters with Mickey Mouse. So you could try to check that out. And Anna brought up as well, you could look up other resources too. Disney Plus, for all of you that have Disney Plus, they have drawing things and stuff like that too. But you could draw whatever you want. Maybe you're someone who likes Looney Tunes and Bugs Bunny. Maybe you're someone that likes Transformers or Paw Patrol. Draw whatever you like and make sure that it is yours. It could be anything that you want, okay? So, just going to remind you, please, I would love to share your work with everybody else. Feel free to share it out. If you need any tickets for the museums or the zoos or anything that I've mentioned in the past, by all means, feel free to email me. And finally, tomorrow, Mrs. Bouali is going to show us how to make Play-Doh at home. There's 2 different ways to do it, okay? So there's one that will use a stove. Obviously, you'll need your parents. There's one that will not need a stove, which honestly is a little messy. I'd suggest your parents are around either way. But check that out when I email it to you. Most importantly, have a great day. Be awesome. Mess around with this. Fill it in a little more, add a little color, have fun, and I will see you tomorrow, okay? Bye, everybody.